Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's video will be in regards to the latest news on the Warner Media and Discovery merger and what it means for the potential of the Snyderverse. Now if you didn't know, Warner Media have now merged with Discovery and have announced that they've got a new name, and that name is Warner Brothers Discovery. Creative, right? The Comic Book Now Twitter page put out this article regarding the merger and a statement from the CEO of Discovery and now CEO of Warner Brothers Discovery, David Zaslav. I will mention all the relevant things he says first, and then afterwards we will break it down and explain what it means for the chances of the Snyderverse being a reality. In a press release announcing the name, he said, Warner Brothers Discovery will aspire to be the most innovative, exciting, and fun place to tell stories in the world. That is what the company will be about. He goes on to say that Warner Brothers have a fabled 100-year legacy of creative, authentic storytelling and taking bold risks to bring the most amazing stories to life, with Discovery's global brand that has always stood brightly for integrity, innovation, and inspiration. The final thing he says is, we believe it will be the best and most exciting place in the world to tell big, important, and impactful stories across any genre and across any platform: film, television, and streaming. There are a couple of things to take from this. The first is in his opening sentence. The fact that he states that Warner Brothers Discovery will aspire to be the most innovative, exciting, and fun place to tell stories in the world not only implies that he recognises the faults in the culture of Warner Brothers, but it also hints at a possible change of the hierarchy within the company. One of the biggest battles Zack Snyder had to face when creating Justice League and completing the Snyder Cut were the people at the top of Warner Brothers, making it extremely difficult for Zack to complete the film. They are also the ones that don't want the Snyderverse restored and have final say on what films are created. Obviously, I'm not saying they're all being fired, but this new merger could create the opportunity for new leaders to be put in place at Warner Brothers Discovery. When there is a merger between two companies, there will be redundancies, as at least two people will have the same job, so one of them will have to leave. I also want to let you know that I don't want any of these people to lose their jobs, and I'm not trying to push for that. I'm only stating a possible outcome. I see this next statement as him understanding the legacy of Warner Brothers, that they are a studio that cared for their authentic storytelling, where they give directors freedom to create their own stories without studio interference. Now we all know that that hasn't been the case in recent years, which I believe is why all this business is happening. I believe by merging with Discovery, it allows Warner Brothers to be able to be run by people who understand that legacy and to get rid of those who want to control every film. He also mentions the integrity, innovation, and inspiration that Discovery represent. These three things combined with the legacy of Warner Brothers, not how they are currently, but the authentic storytelling legacy of Warner Brothers, can help boost the reputation of the company, as well as possibly bringing people back who were not happy with how they were treated, such as Ben Affleck. Now the final part of his statement I find very interesting. Not only does he talk about the company being the best and most exciting place in the world to create films of any genre, but he mentions on any platform, film, television, and streaming, which is great news for us as they aren't only focusing on films. As you know, Zack Snyder's Justice League was released on HBO Max, a streaming service. I believe the most likely way we will ever get the Snyderverse restored is through HBO Max. This is because the DCEU has gone in a different direction. Which direction that is, I don't even think the studio knows. So what Warner Brothers Discovery could do is put a statement out saying that the Snyderverse will be on HBO Max, and the other stories of the DCEU could be released in the cinemas. Now I know that the large majority, me included, would have much preferred to see the Snyderverse in the cinemas. However, we have to understand that the DCEU has unfortunately moved past Zack's story. If we are able to see the Snyderverse in cinemas, then I'll be over the moon, because one of the biggest things I wished we were able to do with this Snyder Cut was to watch it in cinemas, on the biggest screen possible. So if we can do that with the rest of the Snyderverse, then that would be fantastic. If you haven't seen the recent message that Zack Snyder gave to Warner Brothers, then I'll show you now.
Suck it, Warner Brothers. Suck it.
Wow. His words, not mine. But yeah, suck it, Warner Brothers.
So by just seeing that, you wouldn't think that the chances of the Snyderverse being restored were high. However, that is with the mindset that the people in charge of Warner Brothers are the same people who made his life hell, and whose egos meant more than what the fans wanted. We have to remember that now, with this merger, comes new leadership in at least one position. We know that ever since last year, Toby Emmerich, the chairman of Warner Brothers, has been looking for a new job. So it does seem like there will be movement within Warner Brothers. So with that being said, hopefully the people who become in charge of Warner Brothers Discovery realise that the message from Zack Snyder isn't targeted at them, rather the old people in charge who treated him poorly. To those asking, would Zack Snyder want to return to finish his story? He answered this question on the Lightcast podcast, saying he would return without hesitation to complete his Justice League films if Warner Brothers Discovery asked. It seems like the only people who don't want him to complete his story, whose opinion actually matters, are the executives at Warner Brothers. The fans who want to see his vision completed managed to make the hashtag Restore the Snyderverse trend to 1.5 million tweets in one day. I know people in my personal life who aren't aware of the situation with the Snyderverse or the Snyder Cut and have asked me when are they making Justice League 2. And when I tell them that Warner Brothers aren't interested in making another, they always give me this confused look and have asked me, do they not like making money? And so I know that this is not just the people who are kept in the loop who wants to see what happens next. We know that a lot of the cast would be happy to return for a second and third film, including Jared Leto, Ray Fisher, Ray Porter, and I think even Ben Affleck would return if he knew that he wouldn't go through what he went through last time. We don't know Ezra Miller's stance, as he doesn't have any social media. However, I'm sure he's much happier with his representation in the Snyder Cut than in Justice League, and he did return for additional photography. Although, Zack did have to direct the scene over Zoom, as Ezra was busy shooting Fantastic Beasts 3 in London. So I think Ezra would want to return to the role after his Flash film comes out. On Henry Cavill's birthday, there was an article released stating that Warner Brothers were going to create a new Superman film, but without Henry Cavill. So yet again, there were rumours that Henry Cavill will no longer be playing Superman. I personally don't believe those rumours, especially with the Discovery merger happening. So with that being said, I think Henry would return in a heartbeat to come back and play Superman. The only problem would be scheduling conflicts, as he has Enola Holmes 2 to film, as well as the Highlander reboot, and probably The Witcher Season 3. He is also rumoured to have a cameo in Black Adam, and that is a high possibility as Dwayne Johnson and Henry Cavill have the same agent, which makes negotiating easier. He also does have a good relationship with Zack Snyder, with being the only actor to appear at the Man of Steel watch party where the Snyder Cut was announced, which would make sense as he is the lead role of Man of Steel. Also, on March 18th, the day Zack Snyder's Justice League was released, he put a post out congratulating Zack and saying how he enjoyed the film. I also think the Snyder Cut really showed how good Henry is as Superman and how well Zack Snyder used Superman in the story. We got so many iconic shots of Superman, and to compare them to the reshot shots in Justice League just proves how well Snyder has done with the character. So I think Henry Cavill would also definitely return for Justice League 2 and 3. There have been recent rumours saying that after Wonder Woman 3, Gal Gadot will leave the role as Wonder Woman. I can only see this being due to her political views, and Warner Brothers Discovery wanting to distance themselves from those views. Or maybe she wants to go and do something new. Who knows? I guess we will just have to wait and see what happens. But she too does have a good relationship with Zack Snyder, and I'm sure she would want to return for Justice League 2 and 3. If it wasn't for Zack, she wouldn't have got the role as Wonder Woman, and so her career may have not been as big as it is now if it wasn't for him. So I think she would return if she knew Zack would be the director. On a recent interview with Naveen Shankar on YouTube, Zack Snyder said that the plan was to shoot Justice League 2 and 3 back to back as one giant movie, like how Avengers Infinity War and Endgame were shot back to back. This was because if they were to do two separate movies a couple of years apart, it would be too expensive, with having actors come and go. So to shoot two movies in one, it would be more efficient economically as well as in a certain time frame. This would allow actors to go on to other projects without having to come back to shoot the next film, as they would have completed both at the same time. How likely do you think it is that the Snyderverse can be restored now that the Warner Bros. Discovery merger has taken place? Let me know in the comments below. But that is all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe and turn on post notifications so you never miss a video. I hope to see you here again soon. So until then, bye.